Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Kashara from the University of Wolverhampton, and I'm here today in the studio to speak to fantastic people from two faculties from my university. That's the Faculty of Science and Engineering and the Faculty of Health, Education and Wellbeing. Hello, how are you doing? Why don't you tell us what you do?
Hello, I'm Mandeep Deo. I'm actually a specialist biomedical scientist and I work as a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Science and Engineering in Cellular Pathology.
Oh, fantastic. So what is cellular pathology? Just tell us very quickly about what that is.
So it's basically the study of tissues and cells, looking at disease processes and sort of helping with mostly cancer diagnosis and screening techniques.
All right, fantastic. So is it? How is the cellular pathology? Because it's a part of biomedical science, I guess. So how is it important in biomedical science? You know, what is the main role of cellular pathology?
Well, obviously, all the disciplines work together, which is quite important. But cellular pathology is mainly sort of looking at diseases once they've taken over the body, really. So usually cancer. Cancer pre-screening. So it involves taking either a person's fluid out of the body or tissue biopsies. So anything to do with a cancer diagnosis always involves cellular pathology.
So you know, biomedical scientists then, especially those that are doing cellular pathology, they're obviously making, you know, life-changing diagnoses. Then and they're making a big impact on people's lives then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. It's very hard not to sort of get involved in the diagnostic aspect, and you know, you constantly know that every single sample you're dealing with, there's a patient at the end of that, and they'll either have a positive outcome or a negative outcome. So it's a very, very large part of biomedical science as a whole.
What a responsibility that must be. So just really briefly, right, can you just tell us just how you got to where you got today?
Yeah. So I always had an interest in science, biology in particular. So always knew I wanted to do a degree sort of science related. And when I was doing my research, I particularly liked the aspect of sort of diagnostic avenues. So when I did do my research, I came across this degree and sort of where you end up with it, and instantly took a liking to the content and how, you know, etc. And that's how I got into it. And I actually studied at University of Wolverhampton because at the time when I was younger, it was one of the only universities that had the accredited biomedical sciences degree. So that's why I chose to sort of go there.
Yeah, and to have that accreditation is vitally important, isn't it, to practice as a biomedical scientist later on.
You cannot work in an NHS laboratory unless you've got an accredited biomedical sciences degree. So it was really important.
And I know Wolverhampton, I mean, we've been running the Biomedical Science Awards for, I mean, since the late 80s, early 90s, haven't we, really? Yeah. So that's fantastic. So so let's just get to the nitty gritty, right? You're a lecturer practitioner, you know, at in the Department of Biomedical Science and Physiology. You know, you teach, you know, you might do some research and all that sort of stuff. But what is the best thing about what you do?
I think having that background knowledge coming from a profession, knowing how not only the laboratories run, how the profession runs, and the sorts of things that are involved. I mean, I've got a passion for obviously the subject, and I think I just enjoy teaching. I enjoy delivering that important message to the students, and obviously you know, as a professional, I am the very person they want to become one day. So to learn from the actual profession, it's such an advantage to the university. to have that to learn from, really. I mean, the theory is obviously very, very important, but to have that expertise and that knowledge of the actual job you're going to work for is just such an advantage.
Absolutely, and I think the students at the university are so lucky to have lecturer practitioners, you know, in biomedical science and things like pharmacy and nursing practice and paramedic science and all that sort of stuff. And we are blessed as well to have a big NHS trust almost on our doorstep, aren't we? So obviously the biomedical scientists, you know, the science behind healthcare, if you like, that are working in laboratories at the moment, they might be, and they certainly are actually, providing a really vital capacity for the COVID-19 sort of pandemic, you know. And can you just tell us a few words about how biomedical scientists might be helping in the crisis at the moment?
Yeah, so obviously the testing capacity for COVID has gone up. So the expertise of biomedical scientists, I mean, it's not an area of cellular pathology, it's mostly done in microbiology and virology labs. But the fact that they've actually been able to pull biomedical scientists from other departments to help as well, just to get the throughput with the amount of samples they're having in, and how, you know, just to be that person that's given someone a diagnosis. You know, you've got COVID, you haven't. You know, I mean, at the moment, it's so important.
Of course.
It's probably saved quite a lot of lives.
Absolutely. Well. So biomedical scientists, they're literally right on the front line, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, a lot of people working from the hospital, from experience, a lot of people don't know we actually exist. And I always used to joke saying we're always tucked away in the basement of every hospital. So they don't actually know that we exist. But when you know, when we used to have these clinics where we'd actually meet patients face to face, when we actually spoke about what we did and they were quite interested in what we did, that's when they have an appreciation for actually there is a lot more to an NHS hospital than just nurses and doctors.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and as we know, 70% of the diagnosis that doctors make are based on the science that a biomedical scientist actually does, aren't they?
We provide the answers. So, you know, without us, you know, you're sort of guessing, aren't you, what's wrong with the patient?
Of course. Well, thank you. That's all I've got to ask today. So really, thanks loads and loads for taking the time, Mandeep, to let me speak to you today. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and please make sure you keep safe. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.